Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Salt Lake City. And thank you guys for coming down front. There are some awesome looks up here. Was that one working okay? I don't know. Now it's working. Now this one's working too. Good. I'm Matthew Cockrum. I'm a consulting minister with this congregation. And along with the Reverend Tom Goldsmith and the staff of this congregation, and actually along with all of you, it's my honor to serve the mission and ministries of this place for the next few years. Some of you may not recognize me. I got a little bit less hair than the last time you saw me. I had some fur on my face and some fur on here. But that's all right. I'm the same person, I think. Do you think I'm the same person even with a haircut? No? You didn't see me last time, right? You don't know. But sometimes do you like not trust something because it looks different than you expect it to look? You're like if you woke up in the morning and your room had everything different in it, there was nothing familiar, like all of your favorite toys were gone, the clothes in the closet were not your clothes, what would you think?
I would think somebody robbed my person.
Right, think somebody robbed you, but you think you were in the same place, right? Just that it had been changed. Is that right, Jonah? Yeah? Yeah. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the things that change us, the things that shape us, the things that make us into who we are. And I have an example of that right here. Has anybody ever heard of an art form called origami? Yeah? So you can take a regular plain old piece of like 8.5 by 11 paper, right? And you can tear off a little bit of it, because sometimes for change to happen, you have to actually let go of some things, right? And make it into a square, right? And then you can fold that square into a triangle a couple of times and make a few other twists and turns and folds. And let me squeeze back in here behind you again. You wind up with something that looks like this. Do you know what this is? You know what? Yes, you can turn it. Now, I've never used water in it. Water bomb. I like to think of it as a balloon, because I'm like a little bit of a nonviolent person, so bombs, I'm like, I don't know. But if you tear the pieces off and you fold some of it in and you are patient, and I had to teach myself again, because I used to do this a lot, and I didn't do it for like the last 3 years, and then yesterday I had to practice and practice and practice, and it was really frustrating, and sometimes that happens with change too. But if you fold things right, and then you blow, watch what happens. Let's hope it works. So it turns into this kind of open box, right? Or water bomb or balloon. So sometimes the things that are in our life that start out totally flat and we think can only be one way can turn into something else if we're willing to let go, if we're willing to bend a little bit, if we're willing to let something else open us up, make some space for us to change. Sometimes that can happen and we can wind up with beautiful, multicolored balloons or bombs, or the potential for it to become one if you fold things the right way. I did not make enough for all of this, so there you go. Oh, here you go. Here you go. There you go. Here's already going up. And who wants like a very bare piece of paper? Who wants to try and make it? Yeah. Go on. You already got one. There you go. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit while you guys are in your classes. But before we do, we need somebody. Tess has already agreed to come help light the chalice, right? Tess, yeah? So you're going to come up here, and we have a fancy new way to light the chalice. Woo-woo. This is, come on up here, Tess. This is the official, can you read that? What does that say?
K6 983 candle lighter.
Yes, I have very bad handwriting. This is the official K6983 candle lighter that we are using in an effort to avoid the difficulty of sometimes striking the match and it not working, right? So what I want you to do is you push this little bit up here, just a little bit, and see what comes out the top. Oh, there's a wick now. That's enough. Now take the flame from here and put it up there. Good. Now you just pull that right back down. Ta-da!
symbol of light, symbol of knowledge, symbol of warmth, symbol of freedom. We light this chalice as a symbol of faith. Here we gather to celebrate hope and the infinite possibilities of love.
Awesome. Thank you, Tess. Thank you. And now we have a new hymn, or an old hymn, right? A familiar hymn, but we're going to learn it in a new way.
Okay, we're on there, yeah? Working? All right, for the kids up front, because we're going to divide, oftentimes we divide things by gender, but we get too much pushback there. So, for this morning, we're going to divide them by space, okay? So, if you guys will kind of imagine in between the blue balloon and the yellow balloon, you get to be right in the middle, all right? There's a line that comes right here, all right? This group is on this side of the room. That group is on that side of the room. Balcony, you can do whatever you want to do, all right? All right, if you will turn to page, what is our page?
283.
Right, okay. This side of the room, you guys are going to take the low line, all right? You're going to learn it right now. It's really easy. Matthew's going to help you there. Deal with you guys here in a minute. 368.
And it's, once we learn it, you guys, there's only one word that changes between each verse.
So you don't
right?
even really need the music.
You sing, now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. That's all the same every time. And then it's, now let us sing to the power of, what comes next? Hope? Faith. So faith is first.
Very easy. So let's start with the south side right here. The tune goes like this. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Yeah, that last measure, there's a little syncopation. Don't jump the beat on that last measure. Sing to the power of the faith within. Okay?
Think boom, but don't go boom, okay?
Right.
No bombs, balloons.
He went to divinity school to learn that, and I went to music school, right? It takes a lot of learning. Okay, here we go. Sing it with us. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Good, all right. This side of the room, which is you guys over there and some of you people up there, your part goes on top of it. They start us out. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. And wait, sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. You guys learn fast. All right, here we go.
All together?
Go, yes.
All right. Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the faith within.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the faith within.
Lift up your voice.
Lift up your voice.
Be not afraid.
Be not afraid.
Now let us
sing to the power of the faith within.
Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the hope within. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the joy within.
Sing, now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the joy within.
Sing, lift up your voice.
Lift up your voice.
Be not afraid.
Be not afraid.
Now let us sing
to
joy.
the power of the joy within. Yeah! Okay, let's do one more thing, all right? Here we go, and switch.
Oh, here we go. We have to learn a whole new...
Ready?
All right.
We can do it.
One. You think we can do it? I think... Oh,
Now
I see some
let
good
us
shapes.
sing.
Yes, thank you.
Sing,
The
sing,
faith within
sing.
now.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the
Sing,
power of the
sing,
faith within.
sing.
Lift up your voice.
Be not afraid.
Be not afraid.
Now let us sing
to the power of the
joy
faith
within. Now let us sing.
Sing
It's
to
hope,
the
right?
power of the hope
Sing,
within.
sing.
Is it
Now
hope?
let us sing.
Sing to the
Sing,
power of the
Sing,
hope within.
sing. Lift up your voice.
Lift up your voice.
Be not afraid.
Be not afraid.
Now let us sing
to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Sing to the power of the love within. One more. Sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within. Give yourselves a hand. That is awesome. Awesome. I think everybody except our high schoolers are now going to go off to their classrooms, right? So please head out. Thank you for all of your help. Yeah, you get to keep those. From the sublime to the ridiculous, or maybe the ridiculous to the sublime. We take a moment now to center ourselves, to turn in silence towards that which each of us finds most holy, for renewal, for reflection, for meditation and prayer. Most holy and beloved Spirit of life, as we pause here and quiet ourselves, we notice how difficult it can be to pause. What a challenge silence can hold. In our minds and in our hearts are images and stories from the world and our personal lives. Images of pontiffs and congressmen and women, of refugees, of corporate lies, of environmental degradation, of ongoing racial strife, and our own struggles, which include those and those more private, our broken relationships, our addictions, our hopes, our celebrations, our milestones, our illnesses of mind and body,
and our deep yearning and love for this world in which we live, but which we struggle to know how to serve. Spirit of life, help us to listen closely enough, both to the sounds and the silences of our lives. Help us to become curious enough about those pieces that are being folded and torn away, and also the wind that blows and opens us. Keep us from quick and easy judgments that reinforce our pre-existing notions, ideas to which we cling, opinions that we are certain of. Help us to live humbly, to share our joys and our sorrows, and to know the simple truth that we are never alone. All these and the silent prayers in our hearts we offer. Shalom, salam, amen, and blessed be. Our readings this morning are selected in an effort to explore the theme of what is it that shapes and forms us? What are those forces, those relationships, and how does that happen? The first one is from the late Maya Angelou, called It's Sacred, Church. It's sacred, church. Everything in God's world is sacred. Trees and toads and little girls' eyes, grandfathers' hands and the murmuring voices of lovers, sacred. A poet's dream, almanac compilers, and rocks that look up at the moon, sacred. Everything can be church, and anything can be church. Church was the first place where I came, child to spirit to Christ. Suffer the little children to come unto me, for such is the kingdom of heaven. Literally, church introduced me to my very first friend. Louise and I both thought the preacher talked too long. Usually. Mrs. Sneed sang too loudly, and Brother Williams got too wild when he prayed. We both giggled at the same time and cried just as piteously as we were chastised. Every time I feel the Spirit, I know I am immersed in the essence of church. That knowledge changes my voice. I speak more softly, and I choose my words more carefully. There are more yes ma'ams and no ma'ams, more yes sirs and no sirs in my conversation. Out of my heart, out of my brain, more thank yous slide across my tongue. I am blessed. I am in church. Church is not the luggage I bear, nor the cloak I wear. It's neither the hat I sport nor the shoes that carry me around my world. It is not my destination or the point of my departure. I cannot define the breadth and depth and height and width of church, but church can define me always. It slides the skin over my muscles and allows my lungs to inspirate so that hallelujahs, like rain, fall from my mouth. Hallelujahs, like rain, come from my lips. Church is where I go when I want a certain fulfillment, and church is where I don't have to go because it is always with me, holding me up, propelling me forward, sustaining me. When I think about church and remember that church and I are one, I am reminded that everything in God's world is sacred. Our second reading comes to us from our hymnal, and it is actually the lyrics to a very common hymn, Spirit of Life. But we're going to read it in an uncommon fashion, a fashion that actually is becoming more common nowadays, an ancient practice called Lectio Divina, sacred reading. And the way this works basically is you take a piece of writing from whatever source, and you kind of listen to it meditatively or contemplatively, prayerfully. You listen to it several times and notice which word or phrase or image really sticks with you or opens you up. And then you notice where it takes you. The purpose of this is to cultivate that capacity of listening more closely to the space between the words and listening to what is going on inside of us. So we'll read through this, I will read through this 3 times, slowly. And I invite you to just listen. And if you want to follow along with the words, it's hymn number 123. But if you want to just let the words roll over you, feel free to set yourself in a contemplative position and follow your breath and notice. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots, hold me close. Wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me. Come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots, hold me close. Wings, set me free. Spirit of life, come to me. Come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots, hold me close. Wings, set me free. Spirit of life, come to me. Come to me. This concludes this morning's readings. We come now to that part of the service where this congregation engages in two ancient and important religious disciplines, those of hospitality and generosity. And by hospitality, this congregation likes to invite folks who are visiting for the first time, if they are willing and able, to stand or raise their hands so we might see you and welcome you when we get into the coffee hour or later during the time when we're greeting. So if this is your first time here or your first time you're willing to say that you've been here, if you would raise your hand or rise so that we can recognize you. Or if you've been gone for a while but you're back, welcome home. Welcome home. In terms of the discipline of generosity, it is up to this congregation to support itself, its mission and its ministries. And so each week, the members of this church are invited to share their financial gifts as well as their energetic ones. So as the ushers come forward to receive this morning's offering, I invite you to rise and greet your neighbors nearest you and offer them a sign of welcome. A few months ago, while we were still living in Seattle, I attempted to attend a community forum on race, justice, and jobs. I say I attempted because I wound up recording it incorrectly in my schedule, whether because of an honest mistake or because of some sort of internal ambivalence about attending such an event. You see, this was in the wake of the shootings at an African Methodist Episcopal church in North Carolina, and the event was being hosted by an African Methodist Episcopal church in my neighborhood in the Capitol Hill area of Seattle. Now, I'm still relatively new to talking about racism. White supremacy is a phrase that still causes me to stutter and stammer. I was brought up not to talk about race, as though to acknowledge it was a failure, was rude. So it took a bit for me to put this on my calendar, let alone to attend the meeting. And when I finally arrived, I discovered that I had misrecorded the time and showed up at exactly the time that it was ending and winding down. I was a little bit relieved, to be honest, and embarrassed, and I considered just walking right out anyway and never going into the main room. But an acquaintance of mine was stepping out of the meeting room and saw me and said, "Who did you talk to? What was your conversation like?" And I said, "Well, I didn't realize that it was ending now, and I just got here." And she said, "Oh, there's still time. Go in." And she pushed me into the room. After spending a few minutes lingering by the door, taking a scan of who I knew and the many that I didn't, I finally found a few familiar white colleagues and a congregant of Latino heritage who were talking with a black man who was a member of this AME church. I spoke with them for some period of time, felt like I had done my duty, and was walking out and ended up stopping at one of the pews that was out in the narthex of this place, at which was sitting a young woman who I judged to be maybe 16, 17. She was looking at her cell phone. I assumed that she was texting, and most of the time when I see young people sitting in places in church, I assume they're waiting for their parent and can't wait to get out the door. So I said to her, "So you're waiting for your folks so you can leave?" She looked up from her phone. "No, I'm here for a meeting." I said, "Oh, I guess I'm projecting a little bit." She said, "I guess you are." Well, that cut through the ice, and we ended up talking a little bit more, and we're eventually joined by the black man that was in the group with me before. And the three of us sat down on the floor, me on the floor, them on the pews, and started having more conversation about race and justice and jobs and housing. And as the conversation went along, one or the other of them said something like, "You know, there is a color we need to be talking about, but it's not black or white, it's green. Because that's what this is all about." Again, I found myself shocked, and then feeling the need to say, "I'm not too far off with you on that, but you need to know that I've spent my life not talking about the colors white and black. And in order for me to be able to talk with you about green, I've got to go through white and black first. I'm working on it, but let's get there together." This seemed like a new idea to them, as much as it was new to me to say that out loud to anyone, let alone to a person of color. This, for me, was revelatory and revolutionary in that it opened up a space for a new kind of relationship to happen, a new kind of honesty, a new kind of risking and sharing about our struggles with life and how we strive to make sense of the world and the institutions that shape us and oppress us, and the categories of identity that we find ourselves in. Later, I found myself in a one-on-one conversation with a young man who later told me he also identified not only as having a disability, but being gay, and wanted my advice as a white pastor on how to talk to his predominantly black, predominantly Bible-based church about being gay. It was only a temporary conversation, a temporary relationship. I didn't see either of them again, and I don't know if I will. But my life is one in which I am attempting to be shaped by those kinds of conversations, to put myself in places where I can be a white man learning to talk about whiteness. This is part of why, for me, seeing the Black Lives Matter banner here was such a powerful statement upon my arrival. Not unproblematic, I'm certain, but powerful. And then when I did a web search and saw no other evidence of that movement in this city, more powerful still. I want and need to be being shaped by communities that are engaging in these kinds of conversations, this kind of work. What about you? What shape would you like your life to be? You know, a comedian years ago said, "I've decided to get in shape, and the shape I've chosen is an oval." Some days I feel that way myself. And in preparation for this Sunday's sermon, I met with the high school group who were here with us this morning and asked them to finish the phrase, "giving life the shape of," assuming that they would automatically jump on the shape of justice initially, thinking they would know that hymn, but initially they did not. And then we, of course, opened it up and said, what shape would life be if you could shape it? What would you like to give life the shape of? Some of their answers were pizza, sunglasses, a CD, a river flowing with different forks, water, a feeling of no shame, donuts, peanut butter that has no definite shape, a candle or a flame, a cat who doesn't have to do anything, or maybe a little free library in the shape of a TARDIS. The endeavor of living religiously, I think, is really all about trying to more intentionally shape our lives, and also more intentionally engaging our lives in being shaped by something bigger than ourselves. Whether that's a particular community or a movement or a cause to which we dedicate ourselves, a divinity or God, named or unnamed, whose presence we seek to cultivate and serve. Last week you heard Tom speak of the Jewish high holidays of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, a week of stock-taking, of life review and atonement and preparation for recalibrating one's life to one's values. And those Jewish brothers and sisters of ours will now be moving into a holiday known as Sukkot, during which they're invited to eat outdoors in booths, reminiscent of the times when they wandered without shelter as children of Israel escaping Egypt. Like many Jewish festivals, it can be tied to both political and agricultural occurrences, and as a Jewish friend of mine once quipped, most of our holidays are the same. They tried to kill us, we're still here, let's eat. It's nice to be that clear about your story, isn't it? Those of us who grew up in other religious traditions may be able to identify the high holy days of those faiths. What were the observances or historic occasions? What were the rites and seasons that marked your life as a religious person? Communion, confirmation, a receiving of priesthood, baptism, Lent, Advent, Pentecost, Christmas, Easter, Diwali. What were the foods, the smells, the clothes? Who were the people? What were the tastes that shaped who you understood yourself to be as part of a religious community or a tribe of people? Our Mormon brothers and sisters are engaged in a rite that seems to mark their calendar with General Conference right now. And frankly, from the news stories I've read, at least in skimming them, the public business doesn't seem to be that radical, doesn't seem to be that far away from some mainline and even progressive religious teaching about the presence of the holy within us and the need to be an active participant in revealing a commonwealth of compassion and justice among us. Now, perhaps how they envision doing that might be different, but the message sounds remarkably Unitarian Universalist to me. Secularly, too, there are seasons and rites that mark and shape our lives. When school begins and ends, election seasons, ski season around here, I'm told. University of Utah home games shapes the way this building is scheduled. Nothing happens on the night of a home game because there's no parking available. The UEA tax season. I'm guessing when legislature is in session, it feels like a particular season here. Yeah. A grumbling season. Testing time in schools, wabbit season, duck season, whatever the seasons are. But what about for this community, this congregation specifically? What are the rites? What are the rituals? And what are the values that they point to that say, this is who we are to be as a people? This is what we aspire to live like. What does ingathering say? Or jazz vespers? What is the music of the chancel choir, the junior chancel choir, of David? What does the summer speaker series or refugee resettlement say? Climate justice. And the parties, the Halloween party, the solstice party, Christmas Eve services, highway cleanup, meditation, coming of age, small group ministry, service trips, heritage trips, annual meetings, auctions. What do these say about who we are forming ourselves to be in the world? Are we trying to give life the shape of justice, or the life the shape of just us? All of these and many more events do express the values and aims of this almost 125-year-old institution. And it's the local, contemporary embodiment and expression of this heritage that goes back beyond the dawning of Christianity, really, if you look at what Rabbi Rami Shapiro calls perennial wisdom, an awareness and a conviction of the immanence and transcendence of reality that is always here, that this place has some unique vision of calling us into that truth and living in light of it. So what is that vision that is calling this community to be a certain way and to fashion people in a certain way? beyond the way of nobody's telling me what to do. Dan Hotchkiss, a Unitarian Universalist minister and a congregational consultant who specializes in policy governance, the kind of governance this congregation now has, once wrote, "Who is the owner of a congregation? Not the members, not the board, not the clergy, not the staff. These are all fiduciaries whose duty is to serve the owner. So who is the owner? Well, symbolically, he says, we might say that God is the owner, but God's whole will is too big to guide in one congregation, and so instead, the job is to discern our mission, the small piece of God's intention that belongs to this place, the small piece of establishing a commonwealth of justice and love that belongs uniquely here and now." Or he concludes, to put it differently, our job is to find the mission we belong to, the real owner whose benefit we put our resources towards, the mission we belong to. And it's not just about mission and values. As a non-creedal faith, a faith that doesn't say you have to believe a certain thing to be here, it's also about our covenant with each other. It's about what it means to walk together with integrity. Now, I honestly don't know fully what covenant means in the Mormon tradition at this point. I understand it's probably a little different than our tradition from the Puritan heritage. But in our tradition, the covenant was what the people agreed to in terms of how they would walk together. And this church has one. Did you know that? It's in your bylaws. And I think it would be a great Lectio Divina. I'm not going to do it with you right now. We've done that once. But let me read this to you. "Love shall be the spirit of this church, with service to one another and the larger community its greatest concern. The members and friends of the church do hereby covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in all things, and to help one another." Love shall be the spirit of this church, with service to one another and the larger community its greatest concern. The members and friends of the church do hereby covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in all things, and to help one another. What would it be like if those were words that you woke up with every morning? How am I dwelling in peace, seeking truth, and being of help in the world? What would it be like if you listened between those words to understand what that would look like in your daily life? What if these words were turned into a poem like Maya Angelou's to explain how we practice in church being how we want to be in the world? For truly, all too often, I hear people say, church is the only place I can really be myself. Church is the only place I can find people of common mind and let my hair down and not have to worry. Church is the only place where people understand me. And I'll tell you, I think that as a developmental phase, that's a good thing. But as a permanent spot to live from, that's doing a disservice to the church and to the larger world. Because our job is not to just come here and be comfortable and reassured. Our job is to practice here being the kind of people we think the world needs. And then to allow that to invite us into relationships that are challenging, that are uncomfortable, that draw us out of our comfort zone and into that space where we are folded and sometimes torn and shaped into something new, giving life the shape of responsibility, of celebration, of compassion, of engagement, living a life that is bigger than ourselves, listening between the lines and the words to see what we are being invited into. That is our invitation each day. and this day. So look to this day. Look to this day, said Indian poet Kalidasa, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence. The bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of achievement are all but experiences of time. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision, and today, well lived, makes yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. Such is the salutation of the ever-new dawn. Look to this day and see what shape life is making you. I invite you now to join me in singing our closing hymn, number 289, Creative Love, Our Thanks We Give.
As friends who share one enterprise and strive to blend with nature's will. What though the future long delay, and still with faults we daily cope, it gives us that for which to pray, a field for toil and faith and hope. Since what we choose is what we are, and what we love we yet shall be, the goal may ever shine afar, the will to reach it makes us free.
Since what we choose is what we are, and what we love we yet shall be, the goal forever shines afar. The will to reach it makes us free. Go in peace and make peace, my friends. Amen.